Today's topic of discussion is Mahabharata in adages. Adages are part and parcel of any conversation, be it casual, formal, or literary. People always want to communicate effectively and express themselves in different ways. The efficacy of any communication is primarily dependent on the knowledge and expertise of that individual. Further, command over language can also ensure effective communication. Here, vocabulary and grammatical knowledge are obvious aspects. In addition to these, the use of adages popular in that particular language also plays an important role in boosting the efficacy of communication. Adages can be found in all languages and grace their heritage. Most times, the source of such adages remain unknown to the speaker. They may have been born from the historical experiences of that community and passed down from generation to generation. Or they may have been adopted from literary compositions that influenced or inspired the community. While some adages are suktas with superior philosophical ideas, some are simply proverbial sayings used in casual conversations. Thus, adages can ascribe various depths of meaning to a conversation. In this module, we will discuss some adages associated with Mahabharata. We will also briefly deal with the context of these adages within Mahabharata. From previous modules of this course, we would have learned and appreciated how Mahabharata has been continually influencing our society for over thousands of years. All Indians must have had direct insights into how their social life and intellectual life are influenced by this grand Itihasa. For instance, a child may get excited seeing a giant man and tell his mother, "Ma, today I saw someone as big as Bhima." Even a child instinctively remembers Bhima when he encounters a giant man. Thus, many elements of Mahabharata have become common expressions of language in our daily life. It is also worth mentioning here that the word Mahabharata itself has become a meaningful expression. When a terrible fight takes place, even if verbal, most Indians present it as if a Mahabharata war had passed. Let me give some typical examples of Mahabharata in adages. Yado dharmas tado jayaha. Where there is dharma, there is victory. If Mahabharata is a song, then Yado dharmas tado jayaha would be the refrain. This short verse is the primary message of Mahabharata. The word Jaya here means victory. Keep in mind that the first form of Mahabharata was named Jaya. Hence, the central message of Jaya or Mahabharata is victory to Dharma. This core thematic adage of Mahabharata has appeared at many places in the Itihasa as part of many conversations. Let me point out an important one. When the battle between the Dhartarashtras and the Pandavas was announced, Duryodhana went to seek blessings from his mother Gandhari. As he prostrated before her, she blessed him saying, "Yado dharmas tato jayah." Perhaps it was another attempt by that poor mother to invoke the glorious thought of dharma in her son. This simple verse is the most precise representation of the philosophy of dharma. The same verse appears in 4 different situations associated with Gandhari, though it was Karna who first used it. This verse is also recited by Bhishma, Vyasa, Arjuna, and Bhagavan Sri Krishna. Today, this message is inscribed on the emblem of the Supreme Court of India. This itself is an indicator of how much it has influenced the children of India. The popular writer Sri Narendra Kohli, who touched the heart of India through his writings on Itihasas, Bhagavatam, life of Swami Vivekananda, etc., titled his analysis of Mahabharata as Yado Dharma Tado Jaya. It is no wonder that everyone in India, from the Himalayas in the north to Kanyakumari in the south knows this adage. We can see millions of people who can quote this phrase as it is in their life instances. For example, for centuries, this adage has been used plentifully from laymen to intellectuals alike. This is the most popular adage gifted by Mahabharata, Yado Dharmastado Jaya. Adi Sarvatra Varjaye. Excess of anything has to be forsaken. This is another popular adage associated with Mahabharata. This is actually not a verse from the textual Mahabharata, rather it is a part of a famous Subhashita. The complete Subhashita is Adidhanat dhadak karnas twadidhanat suyodhanaha adikamat deshagrivas twadi sarvatra varjayet. There are textual variations of this verse, but in all these variations, Duryodhana appears in the second quarter. He is presented as a symbol of greed. There are two phrases, Adidhanat, conveyed through Karna, and Adilobhat, associated with Duryodhana. Karna donated his natural protective shield, which paved the way for his death. This is presented here as an example of mindless donation. Indeed, generosity is a good quality, but we must understand that it should not be self-destructive. We see people who are very generous without comprehending the subtleties of dharma. History has witnessed many such great emperors of India who were subdued by the enemies because of their misplaced compassion and generosity. Similarly, excessive greed results in terrible harm. If Duryodhana had settled for half the kingdom, he could have lived contentedly his whole life. This would have even avoided the dreadful bloodshed that resulted from war. The last part of the verse, Adi Sarvatra Varjayet, tells us that just like excess charity or excess greed, an excess of anything can lead us to our destruction. And hence, we need to exercise control and give up this lookout for excess. Mahajano yena gata sapanthaha. The way of Mahatmas is the way. This is another important adage used popularly in debates on dharma. This is a part of a sloka from Mahabharata. The complete sloka is as follows. Tarko pradishtha srudayo vibhinnaha nasa vrishir yasya madam na bhinnam dharmasya tattvam nihidam guhayam mahajano yena gataha sapantha. Through mere logical arguments and contemplation, one cannot determine the subtle principle of dharma. Similarly, it is very difficult to distinguish the subtle tenets of dharma directly from Vedic scriptures since they are diverse and highly contextual. If one decides to follow any one acharya, then only a few theories of that acharya will be universally acceptable. It is often referred that the principle of dharma is like a treasure hidden in a cave. The way is to follow the path taken by Mahatmas. This sloka comes in the Upaparva Yaksha Prasna in the Vana Parva, which presents many discussions related to dharma. The Yaksha Prasna episode happens during the exile of the Pandavas in Dvaita forest. Yudhishthira saw his dear brothers who went to fetch drinking water lying dead on the banks of a lake. Since he was also extremely thirsty, he decided to drink some water from the lake. Suddenly, he heard a voice from the skies that forbade him from drinking the water. I am a crane who owns this lake. Your brothers died since they didn't answer my questions. If you try drinking the water without answering my questions, the same will be your fate. Later, the crane reveals that he is a yaksha. Yudhishthira then answered all the questions of the yaksha. One of the questions was Kaha Panthaha, which means what is the way? Yudhishthira answers with the above mentioned adage. Since Yudhishthira gave right answers to all the questions that followed, Yaksha restored the life of his brothers and freed them. Yaksha finally revealed that he was Dharmadeva. This adage is one of the most widely followed and accepted in Sanatana Dharma. The acceptance of this adage is revealed by the fact that at different times in different societies, many great sages have been recognized as ideal to follow. Vayam Panchadhikam Shatam. We should stand united. This adage indicates that the path to the well-being of a society is to stand together, to achieve together, and to experience together. Other phrases such as unity is strength, samhadi karya sadhika, etc. are also popular in the same essence. It primarily means that there will be prosperity only when we move forward with one mind. Mahabharata draws the great war on a big canvas, not only to portray the triumph of Dharma, the ultimate triumph of Dharma, but also to show the tragic downfall of the disunited. Yudhishthira always believed their dynasty should always remain in unity. He tried many times to make this happen, but fails miserably due to the stubbornness of the opposite side. During the exile of Pandavas, Duryodhana was captured by Gandharvas in the forest. Knowing this, Yudhishthira asked Bhima and Arjuna to defeat the Gandharvas and release Duryodhana from their captivity. Then they asked their elder brother, "Won't it be easy for us if Duryodhana gets killed by the Gandharvas?" And the wise Yudhishthira responded thus, "Paraihi paribhave prapte vayam panchottaram shadam, paraspara virodhedu vayam panjaiva te shadam." It means when an external force takes over the Kauravas, it means when an external force takes over the Kuru Vamsha, we, the Dhartarashtras and the Pandavas, together are 105 people in strength. Though when we Pandavas and Dhartarashtras fight each other for the kingdom, we stand separately. We should unhesitatingly apply this phrase in our national, social and family lives. Then through us, the establishments that our nation, community and family will prosper sustainably. Next topic is popular maxims related to Mahabharata. When we discuss such phrases of Mahabharata, Nyaya also deserve mention. Nyaya has been translated by the famous scholar Colonel G.A. Jacob as popular maxims. In the third volume of his book, he said, "I am by no means satisfied with maxim as the equivalent of Nyaya, but adopted it because many scholars had already done so. It would therefore be better, in my opinion, to adopt the term Nyaya itself without translating it into English." Nyayas are popular like idioms. When certain stories from our ancient history, myths and legends get deeply engraved in the minds of the people, the community imbibes certain principles emerging from these stories. These principles can be presented in a single word or phrase in order to represent a great logic. Such short phrases are known as Nyayas. These could be found in similar forms in other languages also. For example, the Nyaya Asidhara is famous in Sanskrit. There is a similar English expression, razor's edge, Kurmanga Nyaya. Jacob translates this as the maxim of limbs of tortoise. Kurma means tortoise and Anga means organs. The Gita says that a sadhaka should withdraw his senses from the sense objects just as a tortoise withdraws its limbs into its shell. This Nyaya is used to represent many such things that can be withdrawn and remanifested. Madhavacharya uses this logical reasoning in Sankhya Prakarana in Sarva Darshana Sangraha to indicate the effect arising from a cause. It is also used by Vachaspati Mishra in Sankhya Tattva Kaumudi. Sundobasunda Nyaya. This is used to describe a mutual destruction. Laukika Nyaya Sangraha by Raghunatha Varma explains the story behind it. Anyonya Nashya Nashaka Bhava Vivakshaya Sundobasunda Nyayaha. Yadhahi Sundobasunda Samnyau Sahodarau Asurau Tilottamartham Vadhyaghadaga Bhavena ubhau api nashtau iti bharate prasiddham. The foundation story of this Nyaya appears in chapters 209 to 212 of Mahabharata Adi Parva. The Asuras Sunda and Upasunda were invincible brothers. They conquered the three worlds. Brahma asked Vishwakarma to find a way to destroy them. Vishwakarma created a beautiful Apsara, Tilottama. Brahma sent her to Sundopasundas, and the two fought and died trying to own the charming lady. In the commentary on Sankhyakarika, that is Sankhya Kaumudi, Vachaspati Mishra refers to this argument in Karika 61, section 9. Let us conclude the discussion. Thus, Mahabharata is widely used in our sayings and nyayas. There are many expressions in languages all over India, such as Urvashi Shapa Upakara, which indicates a curse turned out to be a timely boon. Vyasaghatta, which means difficult to comprehend. Dada Karnasama or Dane Karnasama, which means very generous. All this shows how much Mahabharata has seeped into the minds of Indian people. We hope that this literature will inspire you to delve deeper into the ocean of Mahabharata and acquire the gems of philosophies there. Namah Shivaya.